네, 다음 강연은 에어리퀴드사의 어윈 펜포니스 부회장님께서 아시아 태평양 지역의 수소 모빌리티에 대한 글로벌 관점을 주제로 온라인으로 발표해 주시겠습니다. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Again, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm today from Tokyo, very frustrated not being with you in Seoul and sharing these good vibes. I've been around hydrogen energy for the last 15 years, and I have to admit that the momentum has never been as strong as today. Looking just at Korea, when I see every month the records which are being broken by Hyundai for the sales of Nexo, which are now outpacing the number of vehicles sold in California, I have to say that these are really exciting times. So after this good first overview of the market situation in Korea, I'd like to expand it now in Asia Pacific globally and to share some thoughts with you about the condition of success in this market. But first, talking about momentum, I think it's interesting to look at the story of the Hydrogen Council. As you may know, this organization was created back in 2017 among 13 members. This has been co-chaired over the last 2 years by Hyundai and Alikid quite effectively. We have now more than 80 companies, large groups across energy sector, across industrial sectors, even investors, financial companies. So this is a true sign of the momentum we see today in this market. So now if I take a look more specifically on hydrogen mobility markets, it seems quite clear today that Asia Pacific countries are going to lead the show. Whether it is Korea, Japan, China, close behind this Australia, these are the driving forces today. And so why so? No secret, first, the governments of these countries have had clear vision, clear roadmaps, very strong support for a long time. $1.5 billion per year is invested by those governments today at every level to support these markets. The two other important points that we've got leading OEMs and very much involved energy companies. We have, of course, with Hyundai, with Toyota, the clear number one in the field of fuel cell. They are the first one to really go to mass production. And behind this, in China, we have what I would say a tsunami of Chinese OEMs that are coming in the same way that it happened with battery electric vehicles. So that's very important. And next to this, you get large companies like Kogas, Sinopec, GXTG in Japan that are very strongly involved with very clear infrastructure program to invest hydrogen station, whether it is Japan Hydrogen Mobility Consortium or HyNet in Korea. On top of this, because we already need to think about the future value chain, we know that competitive green hydrogen will be a key in the future, and very likely it's also in the Pacific that we'll see the first large investments and overseas export. So all the conditions are gathered here to make it happen first in Asia. So I'd like to go quickly through the different countries. So Japan, we know that this was basically worldwide the first country to craft a really ambitious hydrogen energy roadmap. I would say that today the progress is solid. The support of the government is still very strong, $800 million of support in 2020. Targets are ambitious, with 800,000 vehicles by 2030. The number of cars today is at 4,000, so I would say that Korea has already outpaced Japan in a way. The positive point about Japan is that Toyota will be releasing the Mirai 2 at the end of the year with a manufacturing capacity of 30,000 units per year, and this is going to create a true acceleration. Japan is at the forefront of infrastructure development. There are today 140 stations in operation with a plan for 500 by 2028. And now some very strong signs of various OEMs launching in the coming years some commercial vehicles, trucks, buses. So we're talking about the Isuzu, Fuso, Hino. These are companies that are now entering into the game, and that's critical. Last but not least, these liquid hydrogen imports. That's a program that has been launched for quite some time in Japan, which is well on track. We see the first large investment decisions being made probably in the next 24 months to really go to a first scale of imports, and that's important. Going to China, what we can say today is that hydrogen is really embedded into the national energy strategy, whether it be as part of the next 5-year plan or more recently in the revision to the energy law, where hydrogen really has been put very clearly at the core. The targets are ambitious. We're talking about 2 million vehicles by 2030, a large number of stations, 1 million, and we see steady progress of those stations and vehicle deployment. Already 2,000 to 3,000 commercial vehicles worldwide, so that's the largest fleet of commercial vehicles. China has decided to focus on these commercial vehicles before getting into passenger vehicles. Of course, like in other countries, some steps are needed in China to reach a true mass commercialization, so further improvement on the regulations, the first large-scale supply chain investment, especially related to liquid hydrogen. But I would say that the plan is well defined, it's being executed, and in the next couple years, we are going to see a strong acceleration. So all in all, when we look at the markets in Asia Pacific by 2030, we see already a huge potential, 30 billion of hydrogen sales, to which you should add the vehicle, fuel cell, powertrain markets to this. Looking just at mobility, this means roughly 4,000 tons per day of hydrogen to be supplied to 3 to 4 million vehicles by 2030. This is very significant. This is why we've said that this decade is going to be the decade of hydrogen, and this is going to pull other usage of hydrogen in the industry and the energy world. But now, what are the conditions of success? And I'm glad because I saw Mr. Moon mentioning already some of those points. First, it is scale, undoubtedly. We need to ensure some mobility deployment plans at scale. We need to invest hydrogen supply chains at scale and from now on. And here, I would say in Korea, in Japan, again in China, this is exactly the pathway which is being taken. So that's a positive point. Then the second point, of course, is technology and know-how. Hydrogen is a very powerful energy carrier, but let's recognize that it requires experience in order to handle it safely, reliably, and cost-effectively. So that's critical. This calls for cutting-edge technology. Again, liquid hydrogen is a kind of game changer that is going to bring this at scale and in a cost-competitive manner. The last point which is key for us is international collaboration, whether it is collaboration among countries or collaboration among various companies from different countries. And it's probably fair to say today that the winning countries in what we can call today a hydrogen race are going to be those that will be able to leverage the added value of international players that have this experience while building up the national champions, because of course hydrogen energy is an opportunity to position for decades some national champions in this race. So hydrogen clearly is both a global energy and a local energy. That makes it different from fossil feedstocks in the past, and that's the beauty of it. If I look at what my company Alikid has been doing, as some of you may know, we've been pioneering the shaping of these markets with players like Hyundai that I think started about at the same time more than 20 years ago. We spent a whole lot of efforts and money into structuring the first large-scale infrastructure investments, whether it be in Germany, Japan, California, and now Korea with HyNet. And more recently, we are investing a world-class size electrolyzer, liquefiers, in order to bring hydrogen at the right competitiveness level. In Asia, more especially, we are probably the only one which is very active in Japan, China, and Korea. Our true ambition is really to enable the development of those markets. We are part of Japan Hydrogen Mobility as a key player. We are partnering with Sinopec in China. And in Korea, we were very honored 2 years ago to welcome President Moon at our hydrogen station in Paris to showcase our technology. Since then, we've been quite active on deploying stations in Korea in collaboration with HyNet, with Hyundai again. I think this announcement you saw recently of this station at Incheon Airport is a great example. This is going to be the largest refueling site in Korea when it opens, and I think this is showing the way. Last point, I mentioned technology before as a key enabler. We are able today, Alikid, to leverage a long experience and technology portfolio in the field of cryogenics, liquid hydrogen, that's coming back to the time of the space adventure. So whether it be on liquefaction, on storage, hydrogen stations, we are working and constantly improving the technology for this, especially for Korea, where we believe that things are going to move forward quite quickly in the coming years. So on this, I wish all the participants a very fruitful forum. Again, I wish I could have been with you today. Let's all remember, I think we've got a strong responsibility as citizens, as companies, as governments to make it happen, to make this energy transition happen. And I hope I've shown you that as far as hydrogen, today we are on the right track. All the conditions are gathered to make it a success. And so on this, I thank you very much, and I'd be glad to take any question. Thank you very much.